Hello and welcome to Ripper Makers. This is the first episode of this great show. I am Charles Davis and I'm joined by co-host of this show, general manager and creative visionary, station visionary, Miss Susie Cowan. How are you doing, Susie?
Wonderful. How are you, Charles?
You know what? I cannot complain. Now, this show, Ripper Makers, is as we said in the very beginning off air, this is going to be our one pun about this. This is all about the nonprofit organizations that are making waves here in Macon, Georgia. Susie being brand new to this community and being the station visionary that she is, we cannot have you seeing the things that you want to see and recognizing the great community that we have in this town without introducing you to the people who are making the moves and the decisions about what's going on in this town. And we've got some great ones coming up for you. But for the first one, I decided we need to do this big for you. And Macon is a music city, so we will start with those two. We have two phenomenal guests on our show today. Number one, Justin Andrews, the grandson of Otis Redding and a big part of what's going on with the Otis Redding Center for the Arts and the Otis Redding Foundation, and the one and only, as I call him, Sir Richard Brent of the Big House Museum, the executive director of all things Allman Brothers. So, Susie, to start off this show, we got some good ones for you today.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to learn more.
Now, Susie, beginning of this venture that we're on, teaching you all about the things Macon, figure we need to start with a big one first. If we're going to introduce you to all the people that make a difference in this community, we need to start big. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and this is might be disrespectful to you for me to ask you this, but you do know who Otis Redding is, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. Didn't want to offend you or anything.
I mean, honestly, one of my first memories of music or live music was not Otis himself, but someone singing on the dock of the bay. So actually, that song is absolutely nostalgic for me.
Well, that's very good. That means having our first guest in the building would be absolutely great. We've got Justin Andrews in the building from the Otis Redding Foundation. Justin, what's going on with you, brother?
I'm good. How are y'all?
You know what? We're doing good. Now, good. I'm having to restrain myself, and Justin is going to be good as well because we have a history. And
I will try.
It can get foolish, but we are here
for
business and better things today.
Yes,
so I'm going to shut up talking. And since Susie's trying to learn everything about making Susie, you take the floor.
That's right. So what is Otis Redding Center for the Arts?
Oh, man, what isn't Otis Redding Center for the Arts is a better question. I mean, we are a 15,000 square foot performing arts facility right here in the heart of downtown Macon to help enrich kids' lives and give them confidence ages 5 to 18 through music and arts education. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're like coming into a classroom every day to take random music classes or things like that. It's more of where do your creative juices lie? Do you know what you like to do? It may not necessarily be music. It could be photography. It could be videography. It could be graphic design. It could be engineering, production. It could be a lot of different things. You have to show kids there is something else to work for besides what is in your neighborhood and inside of your four walls. Mm-hmm. That's the only way that a kid can succeed in life and know that there are other opportunities there. That's
Man, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the space itself.
Whew, the space is incredible. It was probably about 10 years of planning on our end. Wow. And now we have this place where we have a full working studio inside of this place, full live room, full control room, full ISO vocal booths. We have 5 practice rooms in there as well. We have 6 lab spaces. We have 2 lounges in there for our 5 to 11-year-olds and our 12 to 18-year-olds. We also have a tech lab in there for kids to be able to do, graphic design, videography, photography, also use it as study halls or things of that nature to do projects if need be. One of the greatest things we have inside of that space is what we call our Zen room, which is more of our sensory room is what it really is. So it's great that we have that space inside of the center where kids can come in freely, use that room for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and then get back in normal instruction with everyone else.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it is an absolutely beautiful space. Your grandmother, the queen herself, Mrs. Zelma Redding, she took over a legacy at a very young age. Mm-hmm. We know that 2 of the things that your grandfather was passionate about was education and music.
Definitely.
With kids, and your grandmother kept this alive and kept his dream of this alive. I know you said this was 10 years in the making of this, but I know her thought process has been around this a lot longer. How proud is your grandmother of this space?
Oh, she loves it. I mean, she absolutely loves it. I mean, we just wrapped up our Otis Music Camp a couple weeks ago, and it was great to see her there almost every day. Coming in, listening to the kids, giving kids a little bit of encouragement, and just the kids being able to see her in this element. For her to be able to be in there and sit on that amphitheater stage and look out every day, it warms my heart that she definitely got to see this and see this thing through, and now is reaping the fruits of the labor that we have done. It's always great to see her in there every day.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the camp. Tell us more a little bit about the camp.
Yeah, camp is great. So we run 2 summer programs. Just wrapped up our 19th year of Otis Music Camp. Next year is a big one for us, the Big 20, and we did not think we would go this far.
Yeah,
it went from 8 kids in 1 week to about 50 kids for 2 weeks. And then one crazy year, we decided to do 75 kids in 2 weeks, which was the craziest idea we've ever had.
I don't know why y'all thought that.
And then once we got in our space at the Center for the Arts, we did a 3-week program now. So now it's 50 kids in 3 weeks for those kids to come in and, of course, not only write, perform, produce, and record all their own original music, but then we take it a step further. We teach the kids the business. We bring in those BMI professionals, those Sony Music, publishing professionals, people down that are in this industry, so kids can get real world advice from people who are in this every single day. And, we always say there's the wrong way to do music, and then there's the Otis Redding way that we do music. And we are teaching kids the Otis Redding way to do music, which is own your stuff. And read your contracts and make sure you own your stuff. And all of our kids know that now. So they get to experience all of that, and then an amazing performance at the Grand Opera House on the last Saturday of camp. And the kids have full creative control of the show. So it's great for those kids. So Otis Music Camp is kind of where this whole thing started. And then it just blossomed from there.
Yeah, that's so amazing.
Yeah.
I love that you're doing it the right way.
You have to.
That's right.
We only had one shot at it, and we had to do it right.
Very
had to
true.
do it right. Seeing almost a full house in the Grand Opera House for 50 kids ages 12 to 18 to be able to grace this stage and do their own original pieces that they may never have this opportunity again.
Exactly.
The public is really beginning to see what we could do. I mean, we took 14 kids to the Ramen to open up for Jason Isbell. How many 12 to 18-year-old kids can say they graced the Ramen stage? Yeah. And thanks to our supporters and donors, we were able to make that happen for them.
How proud do you think of your grandfather be of what you all have been able to do to keep this going?
If he was here, first off, we would probably have 50 of these, one in every single state.
Yeah.
It definitely would be. Of course, Macon would always been the first.
Yeah.
But we would have satellite locations all over the place.
Yeah.
For him, looking on us, I think he's just like, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with y'all? Like, what is y'all's problem? I agree. We started and I said, we'll do music, we'll do education and the arts and keeping kids in school, but y'all just took it to a whole nother level that I did not think that this was going to get to. And, I just think he would honestly just be absolutely overjoyed and would be there every single day trying to give some child some kind of advice that didn't ask for it. But
he gonna give it anyway.
He's gonna give it anyway. But yeah, he would be. I think he would be overjoyed and over the moon with what we've accomplished down here.
Yeah, that just kind of flows into this next part of this as well. As you said, you've got the camp, you've got Orca, you've got the museum right down the street, and continuing that legacy. You all do so much to preserve making music. Why do you think making music matters yesterday? And then now what y'all are doing going into today and the future of what music should be looking like?
Because if there was no making music, we would not have any of the music that we would have today. I mean, of course you have Otis Redding and soul and that, and now you have people trying to imitate that. I mean, you got the Brothers that come in here with Southern rock. I mean, nobody was doing that before the Brothers came in. So now you have this whole new blend of Southern rock. You got rock and roll and Little Richard coming in doing all of these crazy things on a piano. Thomas Dorsey and gospel music and what he represents and what has gone on. All this came from Macon. yeah, you got your Memphis, you got your Muscle Shoals, you got your Nashvilles, but there is not a place in the world like Macon that has brought out more superstars that have stood the test of time than Macon, Georgia.
I say that all the time, bro. I swear I do. For anybody that wants to find out more information about what you all are doing, where can they go to find out?
They can definitely go to OrcaMacon, OrcaMacon.org. We also have OtisReddingFoundation.org. We have OtisRedding.com. You can follow us on all the socials.
All right, so go check out all of those things. Now, you being the first one, being the big one, and to ask you, pick an Otis Redding song is kind of crazy. But is there a song that you would like to play from your grandfather that we can kind of roll with today?
It's Groovin' Time. It's an upbeat song, number one. I mean, if you listen to Groovin' Time and Groovin' Time doesn't make you happy, then something's wrong with you.
Really, it is.
But looking at Macon, and here we are with all the things that we are doing, we are grooving.
Yeah.
And I mean, Macon is moving and grooving. We are up here with all of the rest of these little towns in the world. Macon is now back on the map how we should be. So, hey, let's keep grooving.
I hear you on that. Justin Andrews with the Otis Redding Foundation and the Otis Redding Center for Arts. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Of course.
Thank you so much for investing in the future of Macon, investing in the future of music in the world, good music in the world, and doing it the right way.
Hey, we can't do it without y'all's support, so thank y'all as well.
Appreciate you.
What my baby told me. If you can't groove me, boy, you might as well let me be. It's love.
Welcome back to the show now, Susie. This being the first show and all, we figured we will take this easy. We want you to learn all the things, but I don't think you're really going to have a lot of difficulty with this one, because if I don't know anything else about Susie, is that Susie loves music. Isn't that right, Susie?
That's absolutely right.
Okay. And if I don't know anything else about Susie, I know Susie likes a type of music.
That's right.
Don't you, Susie?
Absolutely.
And so, to make this easy for you on the First Ripple Makers, to get you introduced to things and people in this town that you already know about, but give some deeper information for the people who do not know about it, we have in the building Sir Richard Brent of the Big House Museum here in Macon, Georgia. Richard, how are you doing today, boss?
I'm fantastic, man. Always great to be down here with you guys. And, anytime you get a chance to hang out in the studio here at the Creek and talk to some great personalities, some of my favorite personalities.
Well, thank
around.
you for saying that. I really appreciate that. But Susie, like I said, this is in your wheelhouse. So I'm just going to back away from the microphone and let you go to work.
Let's talk music, Richard.
Uh-oh.
Tell me about the Big House.
It's a big house.
Lots of magic has happened in that big house.
No, I mean, look, people come from all over the world to come to Macon to see the place where a bunch of hippies lived at, and they just happened to write a bunch of great songs and be one of the most iconic rock and roll bands in the world.
Humble brag.
But yeah, man, the Allman Brothers was a place they called home, place they found so much inspiration for so many great songs. And it's just a real step back in time, to be able to, come to a place, walk through the door, and all of a sudden you transport it back to 1970. Nothing's changed inside those walls, and it's.
Tell me about the timeline.
Well, the band, of course, they get to make it in 1969, but it's once they settled in and were able to bring their wives and girlfriends up. Linda Oakley found the house for rent in early 1970. It was a company back then called Day Realty. They had it listed, the Higgins family. They just wanted to rent it, and Linda found the house for rent, and she named it the Big House because, quite simply, it was just the biggest house she'd ever seen. She fell in love with it. It was a 6,000 square foot Tudor-style mansion. And, she just knew that she wanted to be there. And how that was going to happen was she was going to have everybody stay there and everybody pitch in on the rent.
You have any idea what that rent was?
Well, it started out as $225 a month.
Jesus.
Wow.
It's a lot of money back then. But it got raised by a whopping $10 once the Higgins family found out there was more people staying there than agreed upon. So they landed at $235. Wow. Of course, I'll tell you a funny story that not too many people know that even though it was always kind of considered the Oakley home because the Oakleys were the mainstays of the house, Greg and Dwayne were there for the first several months. But as soon as they rented the house, Linda knew that the band was about to take off and be busy, and then of course the guys were on the road over 300 days out of the year in '70. So she kind of made Barry go back to Florida for like a little beach trip. Well, Dwayne was actually the first one in the house. And the first thing Dwayne did, because the third floor was off limits, that's where the Higgins family had their furniture and everything locked up in there. And so Dwayne being Dwayne, he breaks in. So he furnishes the whole house with their furniture.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's crazy.
Well, it is impossible to talk about Macon music history and not immediately include the Allman Brothers Band. For those that have been living under a rock, who are the Allman Brothers Band?
Well, the Allman Brothers Band are they're considered the first jam band, if you will. But
That's right.
this thing called Southern rock music was they were the originators of it. Dwayne Allman had an incredible vision. We could talk for hours about how the story goes. The Cliff Note version is that Dwayne, Phil Walden heard Wilson Pickett's version of Hey Jude, and this amazing guitar was on it, and wanted to know who it was, and found out it was some hippie named Dwayne Allman. So he signed him. I like to tell people that Phil provided Dwayne the blank canvas to paint his masterpiece. And what that was is Southern rock music, and what Southern rock is just it's just a mixture of all genres of music. And you take each guy in the band. They each brought their own personal, influence, and that's what the Allman Brothers sound became. It's a mix of R&B and country and jazz and rock and blues, and so it's just everything. It's just put it in a blender and hit puree.
A lot of them came from the Jacksonville, from that Florida area, but it was their time here that cemented what they were. And I know you talked about Phil hearing Dwayne, but kind of how do you think the city of Macon, the impact of what that band was and the city of Macon coincide about how being here kind of helped them become who they were?
If you could consider Macon a person, I think they were searching for something as well as the band was searching for. I think they were, searching for each other, so to speak. I think there was this movement happening. And I think the Allman Brothers came along at the right time. They were able to balance that movement out.
Yeah.
You were kind of transitioning. Let's face it, times are rough here in the South.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you've got this integrated Southern rock band, a bunch of hippies and a black dude rolling through the South here and hanging out. But I think what Capricorn was doing was showcasing what could be and what should be, as a better society and everything to go along with it. That, music is colorblind, so everybody can get along in that aspect, you know what I mean? And so I can't probably tell you the exact reason other than just to say it like that. But, you had this movement in Muscle Shoals, things happened in Memphis. And then certainly what was happening here in Macon. None of this would happen if Capricorn wasn't here, I don't think.
Very true.
I know Phil certainly needed the brothers.
After
losing Otis Redding, he was lost.
But that was the part I think you're getting to, is that the Macon music community was still reeling from that, and Macon needed something. The brothers needed that community, and like you said, the two hands coming together actually made a beautiful connection, and that makes
absolutely
sense.
I mean, the impact Otis Redding had on the world is just tremendous, and then the loss of him at such a young age was even tougher, and the brothers kind of came along at the right time, I think, and they were a Band-Aid in a lot of ways, and then they were trailblazers in the other ways.
Having places like Capricorn in town, being able to have that, preserve that history. But the house itself, the big house itself, it's you said the museum is still up and doing what it's supposed to do, but it's not just the house and the museum. It's an event space. It's a music venue. How do you think the house now plays into the current modern space as far as what Macon music is concerned with?
Well, I think it was one of the early new models of a museum. We've certainly had our struggles trying to accomplish things, but we've always kind of been able to kind of do what we needed to do, or at least get our vision displayed. As a museum, we bring in people from all around the world, all around the country, which only benefits the city, because all the people that come there, they then come down here, and spend their money and all that kind of good stuff. And, I'm really proud of what we've been able to do at the museum. It's our mission to make sure everybody knows that the significant impact that they left on society, as a group. I've seen it all at that museum, and that's a great thing. And hopefully I'll continue to see it for many years.
I hear you on that.
Well, on that note, what are your hopes for the future of the organization, and does the road really go on forever?
The road absolutely goes on forever.
Saw what you did there. That was good. I'm going to give you a bell ring for that.
and world domination is our goal. Yeah, we're doing exactly what we need to be doing, and so we just try to enhance the experience. Right now, we're in the process of in the beginning stages of building a new event space on the property. So we've kind of got our own little big house compound up there now.
It almost feels dumb for me to ask Richard Brent of the Big House Museum to pick a song that represents the Big House Museum. But yeah, with that being said, we always have the organization bring in a song. What song did you choose today from the plethora that you could have?
Well, one of my favorites is Please Call Home. It's a song that was written in the house. It's written about the house, obviously a song about home. And, and it also sums up Macon, too. The band formed in Jacksonville, but Macon, Georgia was home.
It's home, yeah.
On all the road cases, this was always stenciled Macon, Georgia, and so that's where
see, now you got me thinking about the lyrics of that song, and I never really attributed it to Macon like that, but immediately in my brain it goes, if you ever need me, you know where I'll be. Please call home. If you change your mind, if you leave and you need it, just call home. It's sitting right here, so now that makes a lot of sense. Well, Richard Brent of the Big House, thank you so much for being here. We greatly appreciate you, boss.
Thank you all for having me.
Thank you.
Take one last look before you leave, 'cause somehow it means so much to me.
All right, Susie. First off, we want to thank both of our guests today, Justin Andrews from the Otis Redding Center for the Arts and Richard Brent from the Big House Museum, for the first episode, trying to get you integrated into the community. I think those are two big ones.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Being a fan of Otis and of the brothers, I've known about their music and learning more about the influence they had and how they're still inspiring people.
Yeah.
And their music and their legacy lives on through the Big House and through Orca, and is just making the world a better place.
Yeah, it is. Between both organizations, they are both doing what I believe Macon is very good at, is protecting and highlighting and celebrating what made the city what it is, and that is the Otis Reddings and the Allman Brothers Band, and making sure that we know the history and celebrate that history, but also the work they are doing to ensure that it's not just history that we celebrate, it's the future that we celebrate as well, with what they're doing with Otis Redding Music Camp and all the influence of all these new guitarists and players that find their way to the Big House and become inspired by what they see there and what the brothers were able to do. So shouts out to Orca and shout out to the Big House Museum. And we want to thank you all for being here for this first episode. We'll be back with more of these as we go on. We've got a lot more organizations to talk about. But as always, to catch up with us, always go to streamthecreek.com. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Ripple Makers is a podcast by Creek Media, hosted by Charles Davis and Susie Cowan. This show is produced and edited by Big Hair Productions. Follow us on social media at Stream the Creek. Engage with us, like, subscribe, share with a friend. Be sure to stream this and more podcasts you may love at streamthecreek.com.